Hello everyone, this is Rosemary, and this is another journal I made for a swap during this coronavirus quarantine. And this was for a junk journal chat swap. It was supposed to be shabby chic, flowers, and fauna. So here it is, and this is some paper. I bought this a long time ago at Joann's. Kind of collage the main picture. These are some butterflies that are collaged, and then this is a die cut along with this notes. The spine is covered with some coffee stained lace, and on the back of the paper, just to stay in the spirit of the swap, I Mod Podge some napkin bits and pieces to give it that flower and fauna look, and I'm really very pleased. The closure is ribbon with eyelet, and the new owner can trim the ribbon to her delight or change it. And so here we begin. It's a 2 signature journal. It's 8.5. The pages are 8.5 by 5.5, so the cover's just a little bit bigger. It's semi-soft. In other words, I used a I don't know, I think it was a cake or some kind of packaged goods there. So it has body, but not really super stiff. So we come to the first inside cover, and there is a business envelope they like to cover with napkin decoupage. There's a pocket. Here's a tag. And this is a journaling card I made from leftover paper. The large tag in the inside is napkin decoupage, and again, I love to use those business envelopes that we get with mail. And the inside here is this is a card, and I cut the sentiment at the top, so I like different sizes, and that's how I begin. I chose this card because, as you can see, it's entering like a garden. And then this is the inside of the card, which I thought was just really pretty to journal on. This has different pages, and here's a little tuck spot. And just, I used a lot of paper from my stash, and so I had these different size papers I decided to use. Some stamping. This came from a notepad. If you follow me, you recognize the Martha Stewart punch, and this is one of my old favorite stamps. And again, coffee stained colored paper, some stationery, and then I start using my scraps, and these little stickers were part of it. This is, somebody gave me a journal, those loose leaf journal books, garden books, and she says, "Can't you use it for something, you junk journal?" And so what I did was I gessoed, and then I stamped on it. I really like that effect. As you can see, here's the other side. Here's a doily with a small little die there, and here's another die. And I love this paper. Somebody was selling it. When people are going through their stash and they're kind of selling stuff they haven't used. So I bought this paper, and a friend gave me all her little bits and pieces. And again, I used more bits and pieces to decorate, collage this journaling card. So because of the, we need a quarantine, I really went into my stash, and I'm really happy I did. This is a card, and you can kind of see the greeting right there. And it doesn't really bother me that you can see that little bit of greeting. I did a little bit of fussy cutting, and isn't the inside of it really just fun? I glued it in a way so it's a pocket, and again, here's just a little piece of lace as a tab, and I put a white piece of paper there for journaling. Another little bit of a collaging there for this, and I have an embellished paper clip right here, and I was trying to think, it's the butterfly is an embellished paper clip. It will come off, and this is the other side of it right there. This came from a book on birds, and it is a side-loading pocket, and you can see just using up your scraps. And I just the paper, the book page is surrounded by just strips of paper, you know, those inch strips that you have. I put a little bit of lace, so I kind of had fun with that. This page I decided to leave for the new owner. As you can see, bits and pieces collaging there. I'm really trying to use up all these little pieces that you sometimes are floating in your stash. Some Tim Holtz tissue paper. Again, you notice those little borders, which I think make a finish the page. I love the coffee staining. I received this page in a swap, and I just thought I just like leaving it plain. And here, some Napkin Decoupage. This is a CD holder, and you can see this was paper, and this is a Tim Holtz die, and I put some lace, and you turn it over. And actually, I covered it with an envelope, the CD cover, and I kind of left that on purpose, avoid heartache, confusion. And here's the tag made out of some stationery, and it goes in like that, so you know there's something there, and that's what forms that little frame, what's in that frame with the bird there. This is just some paper. Again, I'm trying to leave some fun there. And here is this beautiful card. Like I said, we all get these cards. And up here, as I've talked in my previous video, I lightly sanded with super fine sandpaper and sand off the greeting right there. So look how beautiful. Isn't that just, this is the center. I gessoed the greeting there. You can see it, but when you're a junk journaler, it doesn't really matter. And here is the back, which is covered by another card, and I like to cut them down to the width of the page and then put some hinges so it becomes a pocket. And here's one of my collage tags right there for journaling, and again, some leftover paper right there. So I think it just makes this whole page look really very pretty. And I've really gotten into these all variety of papers. This is a small little collage, and this is some embroidered flowers. I just decided to stick a bouquet there, and then you turn it over, and again you see a little bit of a little tag, a little printable, and some leftover paper I have here for a journaling card. So again, in the little pocket. This CD side of the cover, I decided to leave just blank. It kind of focuses on the cardinal right there, and if you turn it over, there you see it all decorated, and there's a tuck spot, and here it is. And this is from stationery, and the flowers, this little flower bouquet came from an ad, and here's just a journaling card, and this is gift wrap paper. So again, you can just make, you can tell I'm using my stash, and I'm really very happy with it. From my napkin stash, yes, I have a napkin stash, and the same right there. This is that tissue paper, and I stamped a little rabbit there. It almost kind of goes together just because of the colors. And the other side of the book page with some lace. And here, this is a pocket I received in a swap. It's a double pocket. So this one is also gift wrapped, and I just did some punching on the side, and it goes into this pocket right in here. And it's you know how people fold book pages, and in the back here's another really pretty large tag. So there is a double tag right there. And again, this paper, I think it's I can't remember the brand. I just liked it, and all I did was put 2 layers, one of lace and one of this pink rickrack. And I treated the paper the same way. The doily, here's a napkin, and it kind of looks really pretty together like that. This is why I said I left it plain, because it just kind of, look at how the page just kind of flows. And here it's blank, but you can tell this is one of those gardening book pages, and I gessoed and did some stamping. It's really a lot of fun. I enjoy it. And here I made this little tuck spot from this paper, comes from a notepad. This is a post-it note that I mounted on some cardstock, and so here it goes. And then there's journaling space right there. Plain paper, some stamping. You see how I played with these different sizes? And right here, some napkin decoupage. These are my bits and pieces of napkin. And on here, this looks like one big page, right? Well, it's the back of the card, that very first one. So this is a pocket. First I decoupage napkin, then I cut around it. This is a little notepad made from leftover papers. And when you put it all together, it looks like it's all a piece of stationery there. Doesn't that look pretty? Okay, these zinnias come from a calendar that's been roaming in my stash. Some napkin, and here you see how I like to finish the page. It's just a little strip will add so much. A piece of napkin, some lace. And here is another card. I haven't counted exactly how many cards, but I think about 4 or 5 of them are used in here. This is an Artie Mays printable with some ribbon. This is a piece of ribbon, that real stiff ribbon with a flower, and it forms a pocket. You can see right there the card, and I picked it because look, isn't that pretty? That's the other side of the card. Another little bit of a collaging there. A book page. You turn this book page, there you see it, and this is again leftover scrap paper mounted on cardstock. And another card. And right here, almost forgot about this. I knew there's 2 places I have to cover up. I'm going to just get some sandpaper and just lightly sand that away, and it will be invisible. And look how pretty the other side is. It matches the paper. I love to play with all different kinds of papers in these journals. Here's another card, and again, using up papers. This came from the CD cover. This is an Artie Mays printable, and I decided to leave the greeting on this card, thinking of you. And you open it, just a note to say I care. And I think it's okay to have a journal like this. And there you see the doily, napkin decoupage, some stamping. And on this side, I have one of these that opens up for journaling. Everyone's seen those faux letters. And here's the tag, another Artie Mays tag. Put some, this lace actually came from a shirt. My friend Janie gave me a swath of it. And here's a doily. This is some, you know, that's computer stationery, and it had these roses. And I think if the owner wants to, she could glue the top and the bottom. It would make a lovely tuck spot. But I kind of like it like this, like, oh, you could do something there. So again, possibilities. This is my favorite page of the whole journal. And it was a total accident, let me tell you. I didn't plan it. Lately, I've been leaving the center of the signatures blank. And I did the punching. You can see the punching. And then this is a napkin decoupage. And I've had this napkin for a long time. And I just put it across the page. Then I added a butterfly. And then this is some braid, some embroidery. Well, you know, it's not lace and it's not really braid, it's in between. And I just think it is such a beautiful, delightful page. Again, that round lace, this is that swath there. I put a little bit of ribbon rose there, and these are just some little pieces of paper to journal on. This is a pocket right there. This page came from a journal, another garden book. I like garden books. I just like them. And I gessoed the middle, and you can kind of see it, but it kind of looks kind of neat, like stationery also. And there you can see the other side. It's pretty much blank, a little bit of light gessoing on that. And again, these bits and pieces were all floating in my stash. So this little journaling card became a pocket. And of course, the little tag, the new owner can decorate it or write on it. It became a pocket, and I really like it. Of course, when you're working on a journal, you should like your work. Here's some stamping, some Artie Mae's butterflies. Here I left it, and I do leave these on purpose this way. I do, and just because I think they add a lot to the journal. This is the other side of the card, and you can see where I gessoed. It might get another layer on that. It's a birthday card. This is Napkin Decoupage. The butterfly and the stripes were part of the card. So I'll see about gessoing some more. This also comes from another card, Sending Happy Thoughts. It's a pocket, and it needs, let's see, it needs a tag right there. I think I'm going to probably put this one right here. This is one, and again, music paper, napkin decoupage. Okay, so this is what you can do when you get greeting cards, and I love to use them. You can gesso, how I showed you before, or you can get another piece of paper and just glue it on top. I don't know which of the two I'm going to do, but I just wanted to show how cards, you can use them, and you do have a lot of options on covering those those sentimental thoughts that might not fit with your journal. Sometimes they do, like they did over here, Sending Happy Thoughts. That's okay. But this is a birthday, and so it needs to be covered. So I'm probably going to get some paper and cover this one, just like I did the other side here. So now that I saw that, I don't know. We'll see what I find. And this is just, again, you're seeing all these little bits and pieces, and they make wonderful little pockets, tuck spots, whatever you want to call them. And here, this is also a very pretty page with a napkin decoupage, the lace, and I glued that on. Yes, I have scrap napkins. I do not part with my napkins easily. Here, again, this is just one of my favorite napkins with the birds there. And then you turn it over, and this is all the stamping. I do like to stamp on my journals. It does add that printed kind of look. And we come to the very end, and the pocket right here, it's really it looks like 3 layers, but it's 2. This is part of one of the greeting cards. Then I did some punching with this wild green, and then the doily is just some added texture. This huge journaling card, you can tell it's a calendar, and I gessoed it. It's actually from 2016. Like I said, people give me stuff, and finally I get it. So that goes into this larger pocket. The Artie Mae's tag goes into this front one, and there we go. And so you can see this is a 2 signature. The spine is about I don't know, I think 1 3/4 inches for 2 signatures. When you're adding as many tags, and when you add a lot of lace, I really, instead of getting that real overstuffed look, I like the what is it, 1 inch and a 3/4 spine. And each of these signatures is like 10 sheets of paper folded in half. And you can tell I added a lot of tags. If all of them were to be removed, it'd be a lot thinner, but at the same time, there is room for this journal to grow. So as you look at this is from Bits and Pieces, and again, using more greeting cards in many different ways. And I've done a tutorial on how you can use them, but I think sometimes to actually see them in a journal, it gives people more ideas on what to do, because like I said, you can tell people to make them into pockets, but until they see them, oh, I would hope my dogs wouldn't start barking, but there they go. You can put them, do some sanding on it, gesso. They really do add a certain charm and color to your journals, and people always are willing to give them to you. So again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again.